Okay. Welcome to the Trust Computing Billions of Endpoints Secured in 10 Years. So this event today is full of great content and great presenters. So I have an agenda at the end of this few minutes of introduction. So just a background about the Trust Computing Group, our mission and history. The Trust Computing Group is a not-for-profit standards industry org. And we develop specifications that are freely published on our website and available for all developers and users to take advantage of. Inside the organization, we build those specs in a collaborative mode and develop those for really leading security industry platforms and building blocks. Our work is really based on a root of trust model, and that's probably a one takeaway we'd like you to really capture throughout the day. And over the 10 years, we've created a lot of industry specifications and a lot of demand for our technologies that we've developed. Some of them have been industrialized by the ISO and are available on both the ISO site and our own with the ISO numbers. So as far as growth of the endpoints using our technologies, this year we will exceed 2 billion endpoints that have deployed TCG technologies, and by next year we're predicting about 3.4 billion, which calculates out to about 5.4 new secure endpoints with TCG technologies every second. So we're really happy with the success of the organization and the growth that we've seen over the past 10 years, and really that deployment model starting to take hold. So the work that we do is quite broad and complex in some ways, because we're covering so many different technologies and platforms. Whether it's from mobile through printers and hard copy, virtualization, storage, applications, infrastructure, servers, desktops, notebooks, netbooks, tablets, and the embedded hardware that goes into anything from PCs to phones to tablets to automotive to consumer electronics, set-top boxes. It's all over the place, which is great, but makes the complexity even better. A little bit of timeline. So we formed in 2003 as an organization. Our first specification around the Trusted Platform Module, or TPM, was published in 2003, which really was the core asset of the organization when we started. And we continued to grow through the years to about 140 member companies and liaison members, which include a lot of the both European, Asian, and U.S. governments as liaisons to the organization. And then we formed some regional forums so that local language could take place in Asia, Japan, and China as well. And then we started doing certification as an organization, and many of our member companies have had their products certified to the TCG standards. And kind of fast forward, we developed a new tier last year called the Associate Member, so we could bring in non-technology development companies, ones who wanted to be involved as end users and be involved in the spec development and the requirements for those specifications. And we published our 100th spec in 2012. So quite a bit of work that's gone on within the organization. So we are celebrating our 10th year here today. So there is a little button, if you didn't get it, that you can put on your lapel for our 100th year. So our 10th year. So we're pretty proud of that. 100th, I wouldn't be here. And then a little bit about our membership. We're about 135 to 140 member companies today. A lot of well-known brands that you're fully aware of. And we're starting to see some end user companies start to join the organization to really start to drive the adoption within their companies. So obviously cyber threats are around us and growing at an alarming rate. It's causing quite a bit of drama and trauma within the industry, a lot of cost to a lot of companies for those security threats, malware, et cetera. And it's driving the work within TCG at an alarming rate, and it's keeping us very busy, as you can imagine. And so that's very good on the workflow side, but it's also very good that there are solutions being presented to market that are different than what we looked at before, and they're based on industry standards that are peer vetted and industrialized and available in products that you can buy off the shelf. So that's really helping move the needle forward on the protection side. So a couple things about solutions, and you're going to hear quite a bit on the panels today. Things like known machines accessing networks that can be measured to determine if they've been attacked by malware is a solution that we look at and focus on. Data at rest or encryption is a very important area for us as an organization so that the content or the information on a machine is persistently protected based on hardware. Validated code that runs on a machine, so it's really measured so that we don't have unauthorized code running on machines. And then the same thing on the services side, authenticated users and machines to services, so that in the cloud, access to a particular service or product can be authenticated, so it's a known machine and a known user coming into that service, so it gives you a higher level of protection and compliance. And then authentication, really multi-factor, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago. Things like machine authentication and then user authentication, so we have different data about different things. Known machines and known users coming into services or networks is very important. And so again, the Trust Computing Group, as a standards org, develops the specifications to enable these things, and then our member companies commercialize them and bring products to market. So here's a nice picture of a bunch of different products that have TCG technologies in them. Everything from ATMs to PCs to servers, tablets, hard drives, both internal and external, set-top boxes, networking gear, multifunction printers, very broad variety.